Good morning. I have quite a serious topic today, and I have put the sort of the bullet points, if you like, in the introduction as a warning. This morning, when I went online, I sadly, and not for the first time, oh my God, I wish it were the first time, read of the suicide of a young woman who had autism, amongst other things. And I felt very tearful, but also I felt angry. And I think it's very difficult to describe if you are neurotypical. It's very difficult to explain. Sorry, describe is not the right word. If you are neurotypical, it's hard for those who are neurodivergent, I think, to explain what the world looks like from a neurodivergent point of view, and the rules that are not understood, the social conventions that don't make any sense, the taking to heart things which for many other people would be laughable or just not noticed at all, and all sorts of other social handicaps which can go largely unnoticed. And I think part of the problem is that many of us who probably are on the spectrum, if we are women, we learn very early to mask, to copy neurotypical behavior, although it's always a bit halting, to be quiet and just try and join in, or try and abide by the rules, or just try and sort of keep safe. But anything can set off a meltdown, and a meltdown can so easily end in taking pills, which I have done in the past, drinking too much, ditto, making very unwise decisions vis-a-vis the opposite sex, or indeed your own sex, if that's the way you do things. Dangerous. There's all sorts of things tied up in a meltdown. And I just felt and feel huge sorrow for this, by the sound of things, lovely and very talented young lady whose life has come to an abrupt end by her own hand. I suspect because she couldn't cope with life. And I think I can very much identify with this. Not that I would take my own life, although as a younger woman, it did occur to me on several occasions. But that feeling of being an alien on Earth, it's hugely difficult to live with. And I think perhaps, well, it's not easier for men. Of course, it's not easier, but I think because men with autism tend to be more overt, more obvious, and therefore more usually, more commonly, more widely diagnosed, although it's not easier for them psychologically, at least some of the time, the rest of society knows that they are on the spectrum and can make some allowances. But for those people like me who are awaiting a diagnosis, it's very, very hard. It's very easy to break the rules because you don't understand them, to, as it were, go the wrong way on the human emotion or human societal map because you can't read it. To blurt out something which to you seems normal because you've heard other people doing it, only to discover that it's actually frowned upon by everybody else. And you can't understand why. This is the thing, that no matter how much people explain to you, you should not, so these are the rules, you must not, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And put like that, it seems simple. But there are so many by rules. If you think about the various human rules that we've got, You must not unless. And it's that kind of level of rules that very often people on the spectrum don't understand and therefore inadvertently break. You know, you must be kind, but also you must be assertive. And that is such a minefield. So I'm going to give a very specific example today of the way my mind works, and I'm jolly sure I'm not the only one. So social media has always been both tempting and terrifying. Tempting because although I don't want to get myself Alienora out, you know, I'd much rather hide like that. I do want to get my books out, and I understand that as somebody who is self-published, I have to get off my posterior and actually put some effort in. It's not going to happen, you know, if I wave a wand, it's not going to happen. But because I don't understand the social rules on here, on YouTube, any more than I did on Facebook, I get really confused and downhearted and sometimes really quite almost depressed about it because I can't work out the mathematics. So things like people, followers, subscribers, whatever they're called. It's been lovely over the last week because suddenly I've got 4 new subscribers, which is delightful. And whoever you are, thank you ever so much for signing up. But the other thing is that the numbers of people actually watching my videos have gone down rapidly. There's been this rapid decline. And I think yesterday there were only 2 views or something. And this is the sort of thing I can't get my head around. How can it be that I'm getting more subscribers and yet apparently people don't want to actually watch me? And I'm not trying to be insulting here or you know, sort of self-righteous or demanding or any of that stuff. I genuinely don't understand. I don't understand how this whole thing works because for me, it's very simple. When I subscribe, and I've subscribed to, I'd say it must be 5 or 6 music bands and groups. I do it because I want to watch their videos. And because, you know, as I've said boring times before, because I am both a writer and was a teacher, my natural response is to click a love or a like, but more to the point, to leave a comment. And to me, and again, this might be the autism coming in, maybe there's probably rules on here, unspoken rules about how safe or otherwise it is to leave comments. And there may well be a kind of normal understanding that you don't. But for me, that rule, that you know, that communication has never actually reached me. And so if I listen to a beautiful video by Elfin or Otavayo or any of the other bands I follow, my immediate thought is, I want to tell them how much I loved that, because that's so exciting. So, you know, although I am old, I still in some ways have the sort of 6-year-old child inside me who doesn't understand what she's doing, but does like to give people presents and does like to give people cards and sort of ticks and little hearts and things like that. Perhaps we never grow up, we autistic people. So yes, that's my dilemma for today. And also, I just don't understand this whole thing of when one should put posts up. And some people say to me, well, you should do one every other day because the algorithm likes them and eats them or whatever, digests them and then spits them. I don't know what the algorithm does. Other people say, no, you should only do one every month because otherwise people can't keep up. And so I'm thinking, I don't understand the rules. I don't get this. I don't know how. I just want to get my stuff out. I don't get the rules. I'm going to scream. No, come on, be adult, Ali. So today's conundrum, somebody who's probably autistic, who goes onto social media and then doesn't know what the hell she's doing and then gets all upset about it. Oh, lovely, lovely. Right. Bye.